Sami Hamdi is editor-in-chief of the International Interest. He joins us now via Skype from London. So, who drives this push now, Sami, to actually get to the truth? Who or what?
I think it's very interesting that you put the question as drive towards the truth. I think that this Khashoggi case is a drive towards a deal that will be made between the Turks, the Saudis, and the US, and each one is trying to get the maximum out of this deal. Turkey wants to escape political and economic isolation imposed on it by Donald Trump, ostensibly because of this whole pasta issue. The US wants the issue to die quickly because it has mutual interests, not just with Saudi Arabia, but with Mohammed bin Salman specifically. Let's remember that Mohammed bin Salman is an integral player in Jared Kushner's deal of the century in applying unprecedented Arab pressure on the Palestinians to accept impossible Israeli conditions. And Mohammed bin Salman is the supposed bulwark against Iran. And in Saudi Arabia, King Salman is desperate to save his son, who in recent days has looked susceptible to a coup domestically. Let's remember that Pompeo, when he visited Riyadh, according to some reports, he essentially told Mohammed bin Salman in his very straight-talking manner that your future as king is under threat. And this is what leads me to believe that this statement that comes out from Saudi Arabia was not necessarily done in liaison with the US or indeed with Turkey. I think this statement is a last gasp from Mohammed bin Salman, all chips on the table, a do-or-die approach, gambling with everything. The reason why I say this is because Mohammed bin Salman has thrown his closest aides, his closest allies under the bus. He threw Saud al-Qahtani, who is one of his right-hand men, who in November last year said, I do nothing without the permission of my beloved Crown Prince, and al-Asiri, who's considered the most competent in the state's intelligence apparatus. And the loss of al-Asiri is a big blow for Saudi Arabian intelligence. I think that the reason this statement came out specifically today is because Donald Trump raised the question marks over whether Turkey actually has recordings. What Mohammed bin Salman has essentially done is he's thrown the court to the Turks. So when Trump yesterday or 2 days ago said that I haven't seen any tapes yet, maybe they exist, possibly they exist, I don't think they exist, he essentially put pressure on the Turks to prove that they actually have such tapes. Bin Salman is riding this suspicion. Now the onus is on Turkey to prove that it has either these tapes, and the problem with these tapes is if they reveal these tapes, then they have to essentially declare that they're spying on embassies. That's a diplomatic crisis. Or they have to find evidence in this investigation that they're conducting. And it seems from the information coming out that they haven't found anything concrete. So now the ball is in Turkey. Mohammed bin Salman has said, this is my narrative. Donald Trump has indicated, I'm ready to run with it. Now it's up to Turkey to show what either the narrative is true, or if they can't show it's true, they need to quickly come to some sort of deal, some sort of arrangement in order to escape this political and economic isolation. I think the biggest worry... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the biggest tragedy that we're looking at with this Khashoggi case now is that Turkey might have overplayed its hand, and it might look for an exit card. And this exit card will be a deal in which perhaps their investigation somehow falls in line with some of the narrative that the Saudis have come out with, and we'll see this issue slowly go to bed simply because there is a lack of evidence that definitively links Mohammed bin Salman to this particular issue. I do reiterate, as I've said numerous times in Aljazeera, this issue for Turkey, US, and Saudi Arabia is not to do with human rights or freedom of the press or about Jamal Khashoggi. For Turkey, it's about escaping political and economic isolation. For Trump, it's about protecting Mohammed bin Salman and the interests with Saudi Arabia. And for Saudi Arabia, it's about killing dissidents and imprisoning them with impunity, as they've done with Salman al-Ouda, Sulaiman al-Dawish, Awad al-Qarni, Abdulaziz al-Tarifi, Safar al-Hawali, all of these other figures who remain in prison. Nobody knows where they are. This is just about protecting Mohammed bin Salman over a blunder or overstepping his mark.
Let me ask you this. How much pressure is Mohammed bin Salman under internally in Saudi, if any?
I think he's under immense pressure. I think the reason being is because this is the first time that there's been talk within Saudi Arabia and within the Arab world of potential replacement of Mohammed bin Salman. This is actually quite unprecedented. And rumors have actually been going around that Mohammed bin Salman has been holed up in his palace in Riyadh, that he has been preventing other princes from gathering together because he fears that they're gathering to discuss possible replacements. Not only that, when the former CIA chief John Brennan, who was a former ally of the former Crown Prince Mohammed bin Nayef, comes out and says there's no room for Mohammed bin Salman and that he should step aside as well. This has caused a lot of concern for Mohammed bin Salman. This is why I describe this statement as in a poker game, somebody puts all their chips in the middle. Mohammed bin Salman is going hard. He's done a policy of go hard or go home. He's put everything on the table. He's thrown his allies under the bus. He's sacrificed those who are mostly loyal to him to save his skin. He's essentially said to the Turks now, prove that I did it. If you can't prove it, then shut up. This is what Mohammed bin Salman is essentially doing. And the problem for Erdogan, for Turkey, is that Donald Trump seems to be on board with the Saudis. Turkey released the pastor to the US, but didn't get any economic relief in return. Now the dynamics are shifting slightly. We're talking a lot about how the story has holes in it, but history shows this is a region where Sisi opened fire on thousands of protesters, killed hundreds of them, and got away with it. This is a region where Assad has killed and made huge millions of refugees from the Syrian people, and he got away with it. This is a region where you can easily get away with murder. Why? Because the international community only reacts when the US reacts. If there is no desire from the US to punish Saudi Arabia, there will be no desire from France or Germany or the like. So what is really interesting now is this. What will the Turks do? Will they release these tapes? And what will Congress do in the US? Will they force Donald Trump to take a tougher stance with Saudi Arabia? Or will Trump and Jared Kushner and the Israeli lobby succeed in protecting Mohammed bin Salman and protecting this incredible prince who has given concessions to the US like no other prince before him?
Okay, Sami Hamdi, live for us in London. Sami, thank you. Majid Zahiri is director of